Well, good morning, everyone. This is a way different video than what I'm used to making. My channel, those of you who subscribe and who have watched me frequently know that what I like to do is do hiking and camping type videos. I'm a retired full-time RVer. And because of my two hobbies, one is walking. I hate to say hiking because I think of hiking as crawling over rocks and wading through small streams and stuff. And there comes a point in everyone's life where that's just not something I want to do. So I love, however, to be out in nature, to be in the forest, in the desert, whatever's around. And I love taking my standard poodle, Jake, with me, who's around here somewhere. He's over in the shade out of frame. Anyway, I have tried so many different options. Before I retired, I purchased a Sony XR100V, which was the latest model at that time. I was very happy with it. The problem with that camera, as everybody knows who has experience with it, is that it takes phenomenal pictures, videos included, but you can't record sound. And as a result, I needed to approach that, and I went online like everybody does. You go to YouTube to figure out what the solution might be. And the best thing I came up with was what they call a Zoom recorder, into which you can plug an external microphone. And I had two of those. I had a Rode shotgun mic, the micro Rode, which I was very happy with, and the lavalier mic, lav mic, that I'm using now. The issue there is you've got to sync up the video with the audio, and that's not real easy in most cases. It's not terrible, but you've got to do it in some kind of post-production process, which means you're into video editing, which is fine because that was fun to learn too. And when I say fun to learn, I mean, my goodness, I don't think anybody actually learns that process. That's a lifetime thing. But anyway, I used iMovie. It was sufficient for my purposes, did what I needed to do, but what I needed to do as far as syncing up, at least I never knew how you could do that via the program itself. I think there is a way, but it eluded me. Anyway, make a long story short, I'm able, through some fooling around, to really get very good results in syncing the audio and the video, and thereby eliminating any kind of dubbed movie effect that we all remember, my age anyway, watching westerns that were produced in Italy and other places where the mouth movement and the voice just wasn't the same. So I digress. That was the problem. I just did it for a couple of years. And then things started to change, and I got interested in newer cameras and maybe something that had interchangeable lenses and just make it more versatile. The problem is, as you do that, the weight and complexity of your system obviously is compounded. And I'll take a little pause here to tell you, and I should have maybe introduced the location. I'm in Wauchula/Zolfo Springs, Florida, which is kind of South Florida. And I'm going to put it in here someplace. A neighbor walked over to me. They saw me setting up my patio. They walked over and told me that if I watched through a specific direction, there was going to be a satellite launch today, and they're in a good position to be able to see it. And we actually did get to see it. So I'll I'll put that footage. It's nothing more than a contrail, but when you're here in person, it was pretty exciting. Anyway, now back to the story at hand. As I said, my goal is to walk, to get out as much as I can. I love to take my dog, Jacob, who is a standard poodle you've seen in other videos. And when you add the Sony, and when you add a gimbal to keep it smooth, since Sony's image stabilization is marginal at best, you add that into the mix, then you add your microphone and your audio recorder. You're talking about a dog and a handheld something or other to hold either the gimbal, to hold the camera, or a tripod of some type, and I've got several. As a matter of fact, I'll cut in and I'll show you some of the equipment I have for the videoing that I have done. And you're pressing this button, then you're pressing this button, and then you're syncing. It's just a lot. It was a lot. I did it because I love what I do. That's why I did it. So anyway, then comes the advent of the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro. I'm close to an upgrade due for a phone. As a matter of fact, the plan that I have with Verizon, I could upgrade every year. I don't, because I don't want to continually have a payment like high enough that includes equipment. So I don't upgrade every year. As a matter of fact, I probably ought not to even belong to that particular program. But anyway, everybody was singing the praises of the iPhone 11 Pro with the three cameras. Also at the same time, Sony finally came out with it's two generations beyond the one I have. I think it's the Sony RX107, and that one finally has an audio input jack. So I really considered, since my camera's 2 years old, it'll probably last another 10. But it's 2 years old, and I could probably justify spending, buying another camera. Well, I looked online, the very best price I could come up with, it was almost $1,400, $1,350 for a point and shoot. Now, granted, it's a phenomenal point and shoot. If you go online and you take a look at the reviews of any of the Sony RX line, it's just a mighty little gadget. But that's a lot of money. Looking at the iPhone Pro 11, I could actually get a really good iPhone Pro upgraded, in the whole 9 yards, and it's about $50 cheaper than the Sony, and is even lighter. So I thought, well, that's really what I ought to do. However, it occurred to me that maybe I ought to take the iPhone 10 that I currently have and see how well I like it, because at one time it was the top of the shelf, or the latest in technology, and has a real nice camera. The problem is getting sound directly into the camera, which sounded like an easy thing. You just need to take that goofy lightning port that they have on all iPhones and iPads and things like that, and get an adapter, which they sell for, it's about $9, $10. Get a little adapter that is for a headphone. Now herein lies the problem. That headphone adapter that you buy from Apple is really designed for those people who regret the fact that Apple, since I think the iPhone 10, eliminated its headphone jacks. So you either buy a $160 pair of those things that look like white snot falling out of your ears, or you come up with another solution. So they came up with this adapter. So it's really designed for sound out, not sound in. However, I was assured if I take my lav mic that has worked with everything else, and I use this little adapter, which takes the 3 rings that any microphone has. You put the 3 rings here, turns it into 2 rings, you plug the 2 rings into the adapter on the phone, and you're golden. Well, I did 2 videos, one on the Alabama, the battleship, when I was in Mobile, Alabama about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. And then I recently went out and recorded a couple of walks, one at Gulf Shores at the beach, another was here in Zolfo Springs at Pioneer Park, and the sound was just terrible. And it dawned on me, what's happening is I'm not getting any sound out of this. What I'm getting is the sound that the iPhone is picking up, and oftentimes it's pointed away from me, so the sound is like at a distance. It's not good. And anybody who is a creator knows that as good as the videos are, people have to be able to hear well. Audio is really almost more important than your video quality. So anyway, man, I'll tell you what, I have spent weeks and weeks and weeks researching and looking, watching YouTube videos, going into forums. Well, I just did the forums today, so that's a bit of a fib. Most of my information comes from YouTube videos, and everyone suggested that, this is the deal, this is the way to do it. Someone said take a camera, take the Lightning to a USB port, which is about a $30 piece of equipment, $29.99 I think for Apple's, and then plug in a USB to mic adapter, and then plug this microphone into that. So I was about to do that, but for $30 I thought, maybe not. Let's just see if I can't come up with something else. Actually, I was about to just go buy an iPhone 11, but then again, I didn't want to do that because I figured I may have the same problem with that iPhone 11, and then I've spent the money as I have here. So solve the problem and then decide which direction you want to go in. And finally, at an Apple forum, I saw amongst all the suggestions the only one that has worked for me, and that's why I'm making this video for you who may be out there and really want to use your phone more, whether it's an 8 or whether it's a 9, a 10, whatever the case might be. Well, I'm outside talking and talking and talking and talking, giving you the secret to my success as far as audio is concerned. And when it was all over, I walked around to take the phone back inside the rig, and I saw there was a temperature warning. So you never heard, and I was talking to myself. Anyway, that's why I'm in a different shirt. By the time I got in here, it's not that terrible as far as Florida goes. It's the humidity. It's about 87 today. The humidity is high. And I was sitting in the sun hoping to get as good a exposure as I could. And for those of you who are using one of the iPhones, one of the limitations apparently is heat, and I've never had this happen before, ever. Because I record in 1080, not in 4K. But apparently the sun and just the ambient temperature plus the recording time, it stopped at about 11 minutes. So you saw everything but the actual solution to the problem. So I thought, well, I'll come back in, cool things off in the air conditioning, and we'll continue in here. So anyway, as a solution, when I eliminated what everyone in just about all the forums you're going to read suggest you've got to have, and this may be true of some of the older iPhones, but boy, on my 10, it just didn't work. So what I've discovered is eliminate this piece altogether, although you need it on any other external mic. Plug your lavalier microphone directly into the adapter, the headphone adapter that you can get at Best Buy or directly through Apple for, as I said, about $10. And this is not a very expensive lavalier mic. I think this may have been, I've been using Purple Panda, and I forget exactly how much they are, but I don't think it's more than $25, if even that. So that's been the solution, an easy fix. Otherwise, I've been very happy with what I've got thus far, and I hope this helps you with your iPhone or with your phone videography. Because I'll tell you what, the cameras that they put in these phones today are really better than what you'd spend several $100s for not too awfully long ago. And for those of you who have the newest iPhone and Samsung and all those, even the Pixel, I understand, I guess the Pixel 4 is supposed to have a really nice camera as well. So it's easy to get video. It's not easy to get good video, and I'm still working on how to make B-roll and some other things a little more appealing. Next thing I'm going to do is download Filmic Pro and some of their cinematic, I guess there's a cinematic or cinematographer package or whatever. It's only about $30, and as applications go, that's worthwhile when you enjoy doing what I do. So again, thanks for watching. I appreciate this. I hope if you're having problems with your iPhone that this helps you. It helped me eliminate this bad boy, and I think you're going to be fine. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that for upcoming videos and walks with Jacob, the Wonder Poodle. And hit the notification bell too. That way you'll be told when I post a video. I don't post weekly or 2 times a week, but I try to do it on a weekly basis or every 10 days or so. So I hope you enjoy those. And thanks for coming along for the ride, and have a great day.